friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gabby if you don't already know me, and I love all things personal finance, lifestyle, and organization. I am so excited for today's video. These are my favorite videos to watch online. I love a refresh, a restart, and what better time than for the new year. I am going to be covering my financial goals for 2024. We will start with a reflection on 2023, and then we'll go through how 2023 was for the entire year financially. We will go through my annual tracker and my budget spreadsheet, and then we will have a look at my 2024 goals. So I am definitely so excited for this video. I have been religiously tracking my expenses throughout 2023 in a budget spreadsheet, and this has been a new endeavor. I used to track month to month, and I didn't really have a system that looked at all of my finances for the full year. So I've been waiting for this moment all year. I can have a look at my full year's finances and how everything went and look at some trends and things that happened this year. And then I can better create goals for 2024 after reflecting on how 2023 went. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so this is my personal budget spreadsheet that I am creating that I will be uploading to Etsy. I just preloaded everything from 2023 into this tracker, and let me actually change the calendar year because it says 2024 but it should be 2023. And I actually took all these images from my Notion that I used for my 2023 goals, so this is very similar to how my Notion looked, which I really like about this spreadsheet. And you can see exactly how many goals I completed, but we will go straight to the financial goals. All right, so for 2023 I had 6 main goals. The first one being I wanted to contribute $500 every paycheck to my retirement account. And I did do this. I actually ramped up my number throughout the year every time I got a raise, currently contributing $620 a paycheck to my RRSP. So that has gone up throughout the year, and I'm very proud of that. I have not skipped a single paycheck, and I think that that is awesome. We all know that, continuously investing is the best way to get the best outcome. So you want to be continuously investing in the market through recessions, through bull markets. I'm very proud of this one, and it is something I want to bring into 2024. Next up, I wanted to max out my TFSA. So this is a Canadian tax-free savings account. It is one of our tax break accounts. So basically any earnings you gain in this account in investments doesn't need to be taxed. I wanted to make sure I max this out. I think the contribution room for this year was $6,500, around there. So a portion of the $6,500 came from some money I had sitting in my investing accounts that I just transferred into my TFSA. And then a portion of this came from my paychecks. My third goal for 2023 was to make $90K pre-tax at some point this year. So I just achieved this one, which I'm very, very excited about. I have done a lot of extra time and hard work this year to ramp up my pay at my job, and I'm very proud of myself for that. My fourth goal for the year is I wanted to have 2 months this year where I spent less than $1,450 on my day-to-day expenses. So this does not include bills or subscriptions or anything like that. This is just like my day-to-day spending, shopping, groceries, all that. And this number might be super high to you, but it was low for me. I wanted to do 2 months of the year where I spent less than that. And I did it for January. I started the year strong, and then I attempted it probably 4 more times and didn't get it. I left myself to December to do it. I just blew over by, I think, like $70. Unfortunately, I can't take this one off. I still spent much, much less in December than I did in November, which I'm still very proud of. So I'm fine with this one. Goal number 4 is I wanted to open and contribute to my FHSA. So this is a first-time home savings account in Canada. It is a new account, and you have to open it. And I think you have to contribute to it for it to have the contribution room that you gained from 2023. So if you did not open this account this year, open it before 2023 is done, or else you will lose 2023's contribution room. So that was an important one for me. And my last goal was to save for travel / flex spending in sinking funds. I sort of did this one. I'm going to give myself a check for it. I started a travel sinking fund for my trip to Greece after I found out I was going. I wasn't planning on it at the beginning of the year, but I got invited from a friend of mine to go on a trip with her for a week in Greece, and I decided to go. So I think in February, I started my sinking fund, and I have maintained that sinking fund throughout the year because I'm saving up for my next trip. And then flex spending, I wanted to set up a specific flex spending account that could be for any big purchases that come up that I'm not re-saving for. More of like a flexible account, doesn't need to be for a specific goal. And I didn't necessarily open this, but I had so many sinking funds that when something came up, I kind of was able to pull from those without completely draining a sinking fund for something else, if that makes sense. So yeah, I got 5 out of 6 goals ticked off this year, which I'm very proud of. And I think that that just signifies that I set well-intentioned goals that I actually could meet. Let's have a look at the annual tracker. This is one of my favorite features of using a budget spreadsheet that looks at the entire year, is after you input all of your budget data and all your information for the monthly spreadsheets. At the end of the year, you have your annual tracker that just has a look at everything, and you have all of your data in one spot, and you can really have a look at exactly how much you were spending and the trends that you're seeing, and then you can make intentional goals for the next year. At the top here, we have totals for income, expenses, bills, savings, investments, and debts. All right, so you can see here that my income for the year was $73,000. My expenses were about $37,000, bills at $17,500, savings at $12,500, investments at $31,800. I'm very proud of these numbers. I think that this is an awesome spread. And if you look at this annual budget breakdown here, you can see that although my expenses were quite high, and I will talk about that in a minute, I did achieve about 40% savings / investments this year. And I think that that is awesome. I will say part of that is because I had money sitting in another investing account that I transferred over to my FHSA and my TFSA. Let's have a look at the expenses, because I have quite a bit to say about this. So I spent almost $40,000 on expenses, and that number doesn't make me feel very good. Obviously, lots of people make that salary for the whole year and have to live off of that. And considering how low my bills are in comparison, I think that I can definitely bring that number down without it affecting my lifestyle too much. Obviously, I did quite a bit of travel this year. You're going to see that I spent close to $8,000 on traveling. And a portion of that was me paying for the lump sum hotel stays and accommodations on my trips. So I was the one that purchased the rooms for our stays, and then I was e-transferred the money from my friends. Obviously, this is a bit inflated compared to what I actually spent my own money on. Still, my shopping was around the same amount, which I definitely think I can rein in a bit next year. I to try saving some money on the shopping category, whether that be thrifting more and using things like Poshmark and Facebook Marketplace to buy secondhand. I think that is something I really want to work on this year, generally to save some money, but then also to be more sustainable. Let's have a look at my annual budget wrap. This is inspired by the Spotify wrap that you get at the end of the year. I think that's kind of fun to have some facts and some stats for your years. This has your net worth. We have your lowest spend month. My lowest spend month was January. That was the month that I completed that, spend less than $14.50 for the entire month on my expenses. And I started the year strong and then ramped up from there. And you can see that I followed that month with my highest spend month. So this is something that I kind of notice, is that whenever I try to restrain myself from shopping, I will get to the end point, I can usually do it, but then I go crazy the month after. I'm very bad with restriction. I have the same thing with food. If I restrict my food too much, then I'll binge. I need to work at the psychology of saving money and how I can slowly taper my spending down. And then that way it doesn't make me feel super restrained. I did also book my travel in February. So it wasn't entirely shopping and all that. It was a lot to do with travel, but still, I definitely think that when I look at February, there was a lot of spending that was completely unnecessary as well. And next up, I have the potential of your money. So this is a very fun section that I'm really proud of, because I think it really puts into perspective how important it is to invest, especially when you're younger, because that money becomes such a larger value by the time you want to retire. So the money I invested this year, that $31,000, is going to turn into $832,000 by the time I retire. That's crazy. And that is life-changing money. That is a good chunk of most people's retirement that they're hoping to have. And that was just 1 year of investing in my 20s. So that is a really good motivator for me to continue what I'm doing, especially with the retirement account. You can absolutely change your life right now by investing more. I see a lot of people save aggressively and invest very little, and that is not the right way to approach things, especially when you're saving for a purchase, because you are just setting money aside to spend it later. At the end of the day, we need to be prioritizing our futures before, buying something a year down the line. Savings remaining. So this is based on the goals you set for your savings at the beginning of the year. And I'm not sure why I thought I could save $25,000. I really don't. The math ain't mathing, but I think I set goals for the savings accounts for in the future and not just this 1 year. And I think that's why, if I want to continue saving towards my goals, that is the amount left that I have to save. And then debt. Obviously, I don't personally have any debts. And now we have a bunch of figures that are just fun ways to look at your data. So the annual income, you can see my income was pretty consistent. It obviously fluctuated a little bit. I think this fluctuated based on when I was getting paid for the accommodations for my trips. June was a 3 paycheck month, so it's obviously higher. Same with December. You can see that kind of skyrocketing within those months. And then I also during the summer sold a lot of items. I was on a Facebook marketplace and I was making some extra money. So, but otherwise pretty consistent income. My annual expense total. So this is what I was talking about, how you can see my shopping and my travel are around the $8,000 mark. I like to think of spending in the ways that like matter the most to you. So like I think Ramit Sethi is a big guy in the finance space that always talks about what does your rich life look like to you. So it just basically means like find what you care about spending money on and aggressively save in the categories you don't like to spend money on. And for me, that is definitely like eating out and coffees, things like that. I love sitting down at restaurants and I love sharing those moments with people, but I want it to be a special moment and I want it to be infrequent and I want it to be special, basically. I don't want to just grab food out of convenience. Don't care for eating lunch out. I don't care for grabbing a quick, wrap while I'm running around doing errands. I'd like to just make sure I organize my life in a way that I don't need to be eating out constantly. Groceries, I think that is right about where I want it. I love cooking. I don't like to spend aggressively at the grocery store, but I have no problem spending more on groceries, obviously, because I'm not eating out as much. I think I definitely could donate more. That little bar is kind of gross, and I definitely make enough money to be sharing my wealth with others, and I definitely want to work on that in 2024. I also want to see my health number a little bit higher, and one of my goals is to go to therapy this year. I have been putting this off for so long. I have wanted to go to therapy for probably 2 years now, and I've just been too scared. I just don't know why the barrier for me has just been such a hard thing. I don't know. I have coverage through my insurance. I know that there's options where I could do it at home. I think I think that it would be hard to do therapy in a 1-bedroom apartment with my partner in the apartment with me. Like, I'm like, when can I have a moment by myself to do online therapy? So in my head, I'm like, oh, I guess I just need to do it in the traditional setting. And then that is another barrier for me. So I'm going to push through this barrier this year. And then another interesting thing is this annual expenses here. We have a expense trend line. And I think that this is really interesting because it is trending down. And I did not think that that would be the case, especially because I started January so strong with like a low spend month. But I think that this has more to do with my travel front loaded at the beginning of the year more than anything else. I think I really started spending a little bit more intentionally in September, October, not November, but December. So I think I just had like the last 4 months of the year, majority of them were lower spend, and then obviously front loaded my travel at the beginning of the year. But yeah, just an interesting insight that my spending has been trending down. Very interesting. And yeah, what else? We have our savings breakdown here, so you can kind of see exactly what I've been saving towards. I think that this looks great. A majority of my savings are going to my high interest savings account, so that would be considered my emergency fund, and the rest of it is for sinking funds. So, my travel, my holiday fund, my cat fund. I honestly I should be investing more into my cat fund. Like, I think because he's young and he's healthy, I just am like, oh, like, why would I make such a big sinking fund for him? And like, he's got time and I have time to bulk it up. But realistically, like, that bills can get crazy expensive. And if anything were to happen, I don't have $2,000 right now for that. So I could probably do a little better there. But yeah, I think that I'm very happy with the breakdown of my savings. Yeah, I have no complaints with my savings this year. That has been a very well done category. And I highly recommend auto investing and auto saving. The reason I've been able to hit my investing and my savings goals this year is because I put it on auto invest and I just don't allow myself to turn it off. It doesn't matter if I spent too much or whatever it is. That means I have to pull from my savings accounts. I'm not allowed to touch my savings and investments auto invest. And that's just a rule I've had with myself. Let's have a look at these fun little graphs here. So these are the top 4 expense accounts, the first 4 that you put into your setup category. Here you have your first 4 ones. So I have groceries, eating out, coffee, and transportation. I think that these are really interesting because some of these graphs look almost the same. So you could see that my eating out and my transportation graphs, and even like my coffee one is kind of similar. It just has like a bigger peak in November. But what I think I'm seeing here is that on the months that I spend more money, I don't just spend more money in one category. I kind of spend more money in all categories. And I think it has that all or nothing mentality. Like, I think, oh, I've already fucked my budget up this month. I kind of just say, fuck it, let's fuck it up major. And I just go really hard in all of my categories. So that is something I want to keep an eye on. And then we just have totals for all of these. I think these are just nice because you can kind of see the average of how much you spent on certain categories. So let's go to the expense one. So on average, I spent $442 a month on groceries. I think that is fine. It's a little high. I think on average, I aim to spend about $300 to $350 on groceries. It's high, and I could definitely try to bring that down a little bit, but I don't really think that we are that frivolous on our grocery spend, if I'm being completely honest. I'm trying to remember how I possibly got $665 in a month for groceries. That is kind of nuts. Eating out, I spent on average $160 a month. So you can see that that's pretty low, I would say, on average compared to some other people. And in October, I didn't spend anything on eating out. This isn't completely accurate because a lot of the times when me and my boyfriend go out for dinner, he will pay just because I buy more of our groceries. So it's like a way that we balance things out. I think $160 a month on average for grocery or for eating out is totally reasonable, and I don't really want to change anything there. I think that's a good amount. Coffee on average was $47. Transportation, $381 a month. That is very high. Why is that so high? Oh, my car insurance. Shopping, $656. This section always makes me feel gross. And I think what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to break up shopping into different categories because I find the word shopping is, I don't know, it's too general. I have like light bulbs for our home. Like I don't really know where else I would put that other than shopping. So sometimes these are items that are more necessary for our lifestyle. And then sometimes this is like completely frivolous spending. So I think what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to split up this into like home, clothing, and then maybe like a miscellaneous section. And I think that will give me a better idea of, how much I'm actually spending on things that I don't necessarily need. All right, beauty is $250, and I have sinking funds for my beauty items. So I think that this is pretty reasonable. Drinking and marijuana products, $119 a month. That is not where I want it to be. Something I really want to do in 2024 is to lower my overall drinking. I just don't think it's necessary in my life anymore to be frivolously drinking or drinking in excess. And I also don't want to spend my money on it anymore. I'm really over the $20 cocktails at restaurants. That is one of my more personal goals, and I'm hoping to see this category drop. Fun, I spent about $97 a month, which I'm totally good with. My cat, I spent $87 a month. Health, $230 a month. I'm actually shocked to see this as high as it is. Well, I obviously spent a ton in November, so this is a good number. I'm hoping for next year that most of this number is towards therapy though. Gifts, I spent $300 a month on gifts. Wow. I'm kind of shocked by that. I do love giving gifts. I don't necessarily want to say that I want to take that number down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have other insights on that one. I travel. Yeah, so this one came out to $660 a month. I went to Nashville, I went to Greece, and then I have just flown back and forth between Alberta. I spent $4,500 in February on travels. I also went to Mexico. Forgive me, I forgot. And that's why February was just crazy. I booked all of my Greece stuff as well in February. And I probably will be spending a similar amount in 2024. I have a 2-week trip to Europe that I'm going on. I also am going to Mexico in March. And yeah, I feel like unavoidable. I'll probably be spending a similar amount in 2024. But I have sinking funds that I've been saving for these trips for donations. $9 a month. That is really sad. And I definitely need to be better at just setting aside some money for donating and then actually following through with it. I should just do it at the beginning of the month and then get it done with and then alter my spending throughout the month based off of that. So I think that's something I will actually implement is donating at the beginning of the month. Maybe I can include in my monthly resets what I am looking to donate that month too. So that might be a good idea for future videos. All right. So that is my 2023 finances in a single look. I will link my spreadsheet down below whenever it's available. It's not currently listed, but when it is listed, I will link it down below if you are interested in having a full annual spreadsheet like this one. All right, let's dive into my 2024 financial goal. I have been hardworking at my Notion. It is currently in progress. This is my financial goals for 2024, and I liked the 6 goals from last year, so I wanted to keep to that. I will be doing something a little bit different this year. I think you can see in the background here that I have some quarterly goals set up. I have Q1 goals that I will be working towards. I think that something I didn't do for 2023 was alter my goals based off of how I evolved throughout the year. And I want to do a better job of that, of setting some goals and then reflecting on them after a quarter and then maybe altering them if I need to, because you just never know. Things change and we change, and sometimes our goals need to change with us. And I think that was something I missed last. The financial goals I'm setting for Q1 that I might progress into the next 3 quarters, but may just stay in Q1 are I want to invest $750 $175 a paycheck. So this number is up from, I think I'm doing $720 right now. So it's about, yeah, $55 more than I'm used to. And I think that I probably can actually ramp that up a little bit more, but let's just start here. Start at 775. And then if I can ramp it up from there, great. So that will be split between my TFSA, my RRSP, and my FHSA. And I will be talking a bit more about that split when I do my January reset, but I will be dividing that amount 3 accounts. And then I want to save $225 a paycheck. So something I was talking about doing in my November reset was I wanted to have a look at potentially reducing the amount I saved so I could ramp up my investments for the year and just have like a really investment heavy year. And I still want to do that, but I was having a look at my savings account, and I'm going to be completely honest, I'm just like nervous to see my savings go down. I really feel comfortable with where my savings accounts are at. I have a very comfortable emergency fund and I have lots of sinking funds. So I just feel like if I see those numbers go down, I'm going to be a little bit panicky. So I do still want to save because I know I'm really pulling from my savings for things like travel. So $225 a paycheck is down from my $360 I was previously saving a paycheck. Okay, goal number 3 is I want to invest all of my tax return except for $1,000 that I will be moving to my travel fund for my Italy trip, and the rest I will be reinvesting, the whole thing other than $1,000. And I do expect quite a bit this year. I have been going really hard in my retirement account, so that is going to reduce my taxable income, and the new FHSA also lowers your taxable income, so that is a larger amount that I wouldn't have had last year. All right, my 4th goal is to save for better YouTube tech. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have this dingy little microphone. It was $30 on Amazon, and I don't love the quality of the audio. It's very easy for me to just like swipe my hair across it and make some crazy sounds. And as somebody who watches YouTube a lot, I really value high quality audio, and I want to give you guys that as well. So my goal is to definitely invest in better audio. I am currently filming on my iPhone and I will be getting a new iPhone soon here. I am getting the iPhone 15 Pro. So that obviously will have a little bit better quality. And if I can get a good mic with that, I think that I won't need to invest in a vlogging camera type of setup for a little while. So yeah, I want to invest in YouTube tech, but I want it to be well thought out, well researched, and I don't want to overspend. The power just went out. All right, so we're back. I had a little breather. The power went out. All good. Mic's on. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's do this. All right, so yes, I think I was talking about how I wanted to invest in some better tech, but I want it to be well thought out, well researched. Yes, I think microphone is first, and I actually might pull the trigger on that on Boxing Day, so like a couple days from now. My 5th goal is to do a financial challenge every month. So this is I wish I could remember what video it was, but I watched a YouTube video and it was a guy talking about how he changed his perspective on saving money by gamifying it and basically making it fun. He was talking about how so many video games online that are so popular that we all love playing have a lot of monotonous tasks in them, and for some reason when it's linked to a game we are completely fine to do it, and it's usually because it progresses us through the game. And so he talked about making finances very similar to that and gamifying it, and I think that that is such a good insight. And I think making finances fun is a way that you can progress your financial life. I found a way to make budgeting fun. I think the budget spreadsheets are fun and I enjoy doing it. I love looking at all of the data and the information that is there, and that is a way that I stick to it. It's not hard for me to budget because it's enjoyable for me. So I want to do some financial challenges that can hopefully help me lower my expenses, but in a way that is fun. For example, my first month, I think January, I will talk about this in my next point, but I want to spend below a certain number, and that would be my challenge for January. And I think it could be fun because I think you guys could do it along with me. Like if I set it in my monthly reset, you know, if it triggers anything within you, if you agree with that challenge, then you could join me on it, and then we'll catch up at the end of the month to see how we did. Yeah, I think that's a good financial goal. And my last goal is to spend less than $1,750 for 3 months of the year. So this kind of is like in line with that goal I had of spending less than $1,450 for 2 months of the year. And I think that that was maybe a little bit too low for me. I think that number is something where the next month I'm gonna probably spend too much because I felt too restricted. So I think $1,750 is a way more comfortable number that I could almost accidentally achieve if I just have a month where I'm, not spending aggressively on things. So I want to do that for 3 months of the year. I want to pull it up so it's more months, but I want the number to be a little bit higher. So I think that I could definitely do that. And I think I could probably do it for more than 3 months. So yeah, I think if we start the year strong and maybe get 2 of them done right at the beginning, then I will feel really, really good about that one. So I think that's one that I'm definitely going to focus on in Q1 of 2024. So that is all of my 2024 financial goals. I will be following this video with my 2024 general goals. So we'll dive into more personal goals, career goals, health goals, all of that in my following video. And I still will be doing a January reset like I did for December, November. Did I do it? No, December. I did a December reset. And I think I also will do a December plan with me. You guys loved that November plan with me video. So that is also hopefully coming in this little spread between Christmas and New Year's. So yes, thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun filming this video. I love this topic. I love resetting. I think it's so nice to just have a clean slate and just restart and refresh. So I wish you all the best in 2024. Subscribe if you want to see my next 2024 reset videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.